outside world, it looks like you're stepping up. True demon. So what if you originally took $24 million? The people should be happy your tickets are back. By now you can't ignore the truth. House of cards is collapsed. The money is gone, the trust is gone, and the time to be right is long. You never intended to pass this file this far. Try to nationalize it. Making trades, that was just to keep the platform alive. Crypto, that was just an investment strategy. Transferring funds to your personal account, that was fair compensation. Look at what you built. But deep down, you know it's over. You decide it's time to make the only logical mistake. Get married. You and Jen, so in love, no time is running out. And when everything else is in free fall, love conquers all. Right? Not quite. October 8th, 2018 is the happiest day of your life. The world is falling apart around you, and you just got married to the girl of your dreams. Barely a month later, you're on a plane to India for your honeymoon. But this isn't just a romantic getaway. It's your grand finale. Before you leave, there are details to handle first. First, you draft a will. Jen gets it all. The properties, the assets, even a $100,000 trust for your lucky wallet. It's the kind of move that screams responsible husband, but whispers contingency plan. 12 days into your trip, inevitable happens. Or does it? You're gone. A death certificate is issued, your body is involved, and Jen returns to Canada with your ashes. At first it looks like congratulations, but violence, too quick. See, you remember hearing a few years back that it's surprisingly easy to buy a death certificate in India. Who knew? Sure, the world thinks you're dead, the company goes belly up, you've lost investors $115 million trading fake assets, $28 million trading on external platforms, and a few $1 million funding your lifestyle, but you, my friend, are rich. Or at least you were rich. No one knows how much money. Could it be the 9,000 Ethereum mysteriously sent to third-party exchanges just days before your death? Maybe you are going to meet someone. Sipping margaritas, planning your next big move. This time with a different name. Or maybe the story the world was telling you is true. As things fell apart, you did pass away. But there are questions. Ones that you can never find an answer to. Like, what really happened to Joe? And how did he manage to make $200 million disappear and leave regular investors holding it? In the end, it's a reminder of what happens when greed overtakes responsibility. Bill Hunt's legacy is a cautionary tale of people attempting to cut corners in the pursuit of a quick fortune. Build an empire, it always comes crashing down.
We've got some really remarkable news here. Republican members of Congress are now facing widespread backlash across the U.S. as their constituents are flooding town halls. These constituents are pushing back against Trump and Elon's efforts to use DOGE to do things like fire nonpartisan civil servants and cut Americans' health care and earned benefits. Here's just a sampling of the kind of perception that Republican politicians are receiving nationwide.
Not the president. And you are doing us a disservice to shut us down and not stand up for us.
So we're going to have to tell them what. Now they're going to stand in front of you. Take their question. Thank your students honestly. Then let's do that. Okay? But if you're going to just yell at me, that's not going to be enough to tell.
I'm a registered Republican voter, retired active Army officer. How can you tell me that those was a college student from a computer terminal in Washington, D.C., without even getting out into the field, after about a week or maybe two, has determined that it's okay to cut veterans' benefits.
I think a couple things. Let me give you an example. Did you know that the VA was in charge of payments for illegals for housing? Basically, the VA.
No, I'd like for you to send me. Could you send me that reference so I can research that? Because no, I'm not aware of that. And I would tell you that that's a red herring, a false flag. If you're throwing that kind of political stuff up, trying to cut veterans' benefits, that's very alarming to me.
Why would you stand up to them and say that is a lie?
The end result of the fraud and abuse that has been discovered already.
But what is going on right now today is the House of Representatives and the Senate are totally abdicating their responsibility to take steps. I'm not sure about that, or I'm not sure about that. You put up a slide in here of this. Let's talk about the film tax cut. How much of that deficit in that document 2012 was the tax cuts? Incredibly rich people in the world right now. You know what? And to eventually our government, you are a government. You are an officer of the court in addition to wearing the our Constitution. And yet, what you and so many of your colleagues are just sitting around. Well, I don't know. We'll see what happens next time. Oh, those workers have rights, and yes, they've been violated, so now they're being processed. Our courts can't handle this. These people have planned this for years, and they're doing it. It is a fire hose of action. Illegal actions that even you don't say. But I'm not sure that the court started out. They're electoral fund, sir. If you guys would sit back and are afraid of a primary.
A stunning percentage of dating app users report that they're unhappy with their experience on said dating apps. But is that because of online dating itself, or maybe the company behind the apps? In fact, a recent investigation by the reporters over at The Lever takes a look at the second question, which I think is such an interesting, enterprising story to investigate. Never really thought about how monopolies or consolidation impacts the dating world, but here we are. So almost all of the apps on the dating market are run by one corporation, and that's Match Group. It's worth $8.5 billion, and most dating apps that you can think of, Tinder, Hinge, OkCupid, and so on, all of those are owned by Match Group, except for Bumble. So, Match Group has acquired or absorbed over 24 of its own rivals and now reportedly operates over 40 brands altogether. So critics of Match Group state that, given the corporation's dominance, it has no real incentive to make sure that its users are getting good matches. In fact, it might have a bit of an incentive to ensure people aren't getting good matches. So last year, a class action lawsuit was filed against Match Group, and I want to give you the details as reported by The Lever. Users invest their time and money into the platform looking for a relationship, the complaint states, and crucially, freedom from the platform. Via dopamine manipulating product features, users become gamblers locked in a search for psychological.
Rumor has it that congressional Republicans are not entirely spineless. Maybe they're just cowards, which I guess is better. It's hard to say, though. Republicans are currently in control of both houses in Congress, but just barely. So in order for Republicans to push any kind of Trump-endorsed agenda, they have to function, for the most part, as a single entity. Any deviation from the path will apparently be met with death threats from Republican constituents. Jake, before we get too deep into this story, what are your initial thoughts here?
I have to be honest, I was shocked by the details. I know that politicians are sniveling cowards, but the depths of it was unbelievable. Well, you're going to see it for yourself. You guys got the quotes. Don't come back and comment on it.
Yeah, okay, so according to an article from Vanity Fair, Senate and House Republicans know Trump will orchestrate the running of a primary challenger backed by Elon Musk's unlimited resources if a member defies him. But this is not the whole story of Republican subservience to the president. In private, Republicans talk about their fears that Trump might incite his MAGA followers to commit political violence against them if they don't rubber stamp his actions. So how does this manifest in our actual government? For one, North Carolina Senator Tom Tillis was considering voting against Pete Hegseth's nomination for Secretary of Defense. However, according to one source, Tillis was informed by the FBI of credible death threats against him. So ultimately, he cast the 50th vote to confirm Hegseth. McKay Coppins, biographer to Mitt Romney, said that fears of violence prevented Republicans from speaking or acting out against Trump regarding the events of January 6th. He wrote in his book, one Republican congressman confided to Romney that he wanted to vote for Trump's second impeachment, but chose not to out of fear for his family's safety. When one senator, a member of leadership, said he was leaning toward voting to convict, the others urged him to reconsider. You can't do that, Romney recalled someone saying. Think of your personal safety, said another. Think of your children. The senator eventually decided that they were right. Liz Cheney, the former Republican representative who lost her seat in Congress for speaking out against Trump, told CNN that House GOP members told her that they were afraid for their own safety and lives. And Representative Jason Crow of Colorado told NBC News following January 6th, I had a lot of conversations with my Republican colleagues last night, and a couple of them broke down in tears, saying that they are afraid for their lives if they vote for this impeachment. Former Representative Peter Meyer told a writer for The Atlantic about a colleague of his who nearly suffered a nervous breakdown over fears of violence if he voted to certify the 2020 election results. Meyer said, remember, this wasn't a hypothetical. You were casting that vote after seeing with your own two eyes what some of these people are capable of. If they're willing to come after you inside the U.S. Capitol, what will they do when you're at home with your kids? And to make matters worse, once Trump was back in office, one of the first things he did was pardon the January 6th rioters, releasing individuals who demonstrably were capable and eager to engage in political violence from prison. Stuart Stevens, former Republican strategist for Mitt Romney's 2012 presidential campaign and senior advisor to the Lincoln Project, put it this way. He said, a guy sends a mob into your workplace to kill you, and you're okay with that? He added, I talked to Lincoln Project donors, he said. These are powerful and wealthy people, and I can tell you a percentage of them are talking about
Take the abuse. We created the new Department of Government Efficiency, which you may have heard about.
Ukrainians have been fighting and dying not just to protect their sovereignty, their territorial integrity, they're also fighting to protect the rules-based order that keeps us all safe.
Okay, quick memory jog. Anyone else remember when Donald Trump said he'd bring an end to the war in Ukraine quickly?
That is a war that's dying to be settled. I will get it settled before I even become president. If I win, when I'm president-elect, and what I'll do is I'll speak to one, I'll speak to the other, I'll get them together. That war would have never happened. And in fact, when I saw Putin after I left, unfortunately left because our country has gone to hell. But after I left, when I saw him building up soldiers, he did it after I left. I said, oh, he must be negotiating. It must be a good, strong point of negotiation. Well, it wasn't, because Biden had no idea how to talk to him.
As quick as he said he would bring down grocery prices. Before then backtracking on that fast enough, you can say golf or who gives a shit.
Starting the day I take the oath of office, I will rapidly drive prices down, and we will make America affordable again.
Yeah, and inflation is back. I'm only 16.5 weeks. That was the inflation there, Dad.
Yeah, to give inflation's back, and they said, oh, Trump and flags, I had nothing to do with it. And now, let's also remind ourselves of who warned that Trump would say all this just to cow to Putin's request before Melania can even redecorate in the White House.
Ukraine stands as an independent and free country. If Donald Trump were president, Putin would be sitting in Kyiv right now. And understand what that would mean, because Putin's agenda is not just about Ukraine. Understand why the European allies and our NATO allies are so thankful that you are no longer president, and that we understand the importance of the greatest military alliance the world has ever known, which is NATO, and what we have done to preserve the ability of Zelensky and the Ukrainians to fight for their independence. Otherwise, Putin would be sitting in Kyiv with his eyes on the rest of Europe, starting with Poland. And why don't you tell the 800,000 Polish Americans right here in Pennsylvania how quickly you would give up for the sake of favor and what you think is a friendship with what is known to be a dictator who would eat you for lunch.
After President Trump falsely called Ukraine's President Zelensky a dictator, escalating a public war of words between the two leaders, all of which started when Trump falsely accused Ukraine of starting the war with Russia.
Hey friends, Chris. Welcome back. So Elon Musk sent out a crazy email today. We talked about in the last video. I want to give you an update on your comments and what your thoughts and feelings here. So first, this is what happened. Trump sent a message on social media like, "Great job to Elon Musk. I would like to see him get more aggressive." Okay. Trump then sent out. This is what it said. It said, consistent with President Trump's instruction, all federal employees will shortly receive an email requesting to understand what they got that last week. Failure to respond will be taken as a resignation. So basically, don't respond to the email. Right. This is actually the email, so we didn't have the email last time. Yeah, we put on the Twitter first. Well, he did that with his company. Like his employees. Yeah. Well, he treats the government like his company. And some people think, oh, I really want a business person to run our country, but it's not really the same. So this is, and that's...
Whoever says that, they should be fired first.
People who say you should run the government like business, yeah, it's not the same. So this is the email. We didn't have the email before. Now we've got it. The email reads, please reply to this email with approximately 5 bullets of what you accomplished last week and CC your manager. Okay? The email is from the, I guess it said HR on the email. It also said Office of Personal Management. And then many people got the email place out screenshot. It was like a little, like a flag that would say this is from outside the institution. So some people thought it was spam. Also, it says here, please do not send any classified information, links, or attachments. So that's what people got. Now, the email is different than what you wrote on social media. So what's the difference? Did you notice the difference? So what's the important line here on the social media was what? You don't respond. Yeah. So if you don't respond, you're fine. So on the email, he doesn't mention that. So it's the difference. So that's interesting. And then basically, people now are kind of pissed off. Yeah. Sure. Well, that's what people are saying now. So people already are communicating phone calls from coworkers. I also want to read some comments from what you guys said. So, for example, you want to read the first comment? Matthew says, American security for other American employees officially reached the point of societal collapse. And both of these sort of emails, describe this negative culture we have right now. Yeah, so a lot of ones. So already has been reported several departments, and this would include some that are national security. So, for example, FBI, CIA. Yeah. Another example would be air traffic control, so people who control the airways. Homeland security, which is like border people. Our parks, it could be our tax code. It's like yeah. And talking about the health thing, just for today, Texas and New Mexico, there's 100 people with measles. That's sort of like this awesome kind of thing. And, I barely even know what it is. It's something that we don't but for some people that maybe don't believe in vaccines or healthcare or doctors or whatever, there's people out there like that. They're kind of tough and they're going to get us all. That's just one problem. We have another problem with yeah. That's what it sounds like. We don't know if that's right. Yeah. It sounds like it is right. Yeah. So, yeah.
Basically, Elon wants to know I want to know what everything is.
Yeah. Yeah. So, for example, let's say you're employed, or let's say you're cybersecurity, or nuclear security, or any number of things. Like there's certain things. You get this odd email like, "What did you do last week?" Like, there's any number of ways that would threaten our national security. Like, for example, let's say an adversary was trying to crack our nuclear codes, right, or whatever. You're like, "Oh, I stopped 3 nuclear code attacks." Yeah. Right.
We are back, and we are joined now by Jamie Cosson and Matt Shea, authors of Clown World, 4 Years Inside Andrew Tate's Manosphere. Welcome, guys. Thanks so much for coming on the show.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, thank you.
So, of course, you were investigating Andrew Tate for around 4 years, and this started when you guys were with Vice in 2019. For people in our audience that may not be familiar with Andrew Tate and the Manosphere, what is it, and why is it important, I think, in this particular moment in history to understand it? Either of you, go ahead. Go to Oscar first.
Yeah, sure. So the Manosphere is kind of a broad term for a group of sort of individual groups amongst themselves that make up sort of various online rights activists, and it includes groups like incels, the involuntary celibates, who get quite a lot of press attention, hip-hop artists who were particularly popular in kind of the earlier era of the Manosphere, men that would teach other men how to get women, and also these kind of red pill male influencers who try to sort of explain away the woes of the world by essentially blaming it on women and the failure of feminism and modern liberal society. Andrew Tate is an influencer that kind of comes, in some sense, from 2 or 3 of the worlds within the Manosphere. He's a bit of a red pillar, he's a bit of a hip-hop artist, and he became incredibly famous in 2022, dominating social media platforms, basically showing his ostentatious, lavish lifestyle, making incredibly shocking, misogynistic comments, and selling courses teaching other men how to make money online and be just like him.
And Matt, how did his popularity increase? Like, what was the origins of his popularity? How did he come into the public eye? And I saw some poll of British men under the age of 18 that showed him like a few years ago having above 50% popularity, which is deeply concerning. Maybe that's taken a hit, but like there was a time when he really was doing the influencing thing, actually influencing people.
I think he still is. I think first we should get an idea of the scale of that popularity. So, by many metrics, Andrew Tate at his peak was the most famous person in the world. One of the most successful people of all time in social media. At one point, he was the most Googled man in the world. He pointed out a study in the UK that shows that at one point, the majority of young girls and men had a positive view of him. There's similar polls reflect his support in the US and Australia, all around the world. And when you consider the extreme views that he's putting out there, it's quite shocking. The way to achieve that fame and that popularity was he was one of these people who was kind of an early realizer of the fact that the louder and the more that the algorithms and various social media platforms push you out. And the speed at which he became, by many metrics, the most famous man in the world is unprecedented in history. It was a matter of months that he was able to kind of take over Twitter and TikTok. And I think that, one of the main ways he was able to do that was simply by being controversial and being loud and being loud with that. But also, he did have a pretty kind of clever scheme where he would essentially create an affiliate marketing program where you were encouraged to share content of him, specifically more controversial content. And underneath the videos that they shared, there would be a sign-up link for his online courses where you would learn how to become supposedly wealthy and successful like him, or how to become an alpha male. And so if someone signed up through your link, underneath your video you must eventually, you would get a percentage of the sign-up fee. So it was kind of like he financially incentivized young men all across the world to make him famous. And he had a kind of social media marketing team, small team of young guys. It's not some crazy sophisticated operation. If anything, it shows just how easy it is to make these social media algorithms. A few guys in a house somewhere in Romania can basically manipulate the algorithms to make someone the most famous man in the world overnight.
And what did his content look like? What were some of the major themes? How did he break through the noise? There are a lot of folks on the internet, like Nick Fuentes or whatever, that say the most outrageous things possible, but they don't get to the peak of his popularity.
So he made some really shocking misogynistic comments. He spoke about women should in part be responsible for their own rapes because they put themselves in situations to be raped. He said the world would be a better place if women had the number of men they'd had sex with tattooed on their forehead. But he would also do videos that kind of trod the line between is he joking or is he not. So he did a video like why men shouldn't hang out with their sisters, where he sort of explained why he didn't hang out with his sister because, one, she was a liberal Bernie supporter, but two, men should only hang out with other strong men. If you hang out with women, it makes you weak. So it was kind of a mixture of content, and it was the more shocking content that went most viral. But what Tate did quite cleverly is, and he said this explicitly to us, he said, like, I'm selling the James Bond lifestyle. So along with all the misogyny, he also had himself traveling the world, going on yachts in Croatia, high rises in Dubai. So he was shocking, but he also had this lifestyle element that young men were kind of drawn to in a really shallow way in many ways. The other side of Tate's content, which is now coming more to light, but something which we were kind of investigating from the get-go, was the content of his actual courses. These are like video courses, kind of like masterclasses if you're learning filmmaking or Scorsese, but instead it's how to be a horrible person with Andrew Tate. And one of his most famous and
let's talk about today. Specifically, the insane. And listen, it's not the first thing that's happened. This is one of the violent. The Elon Musk crash out on Twitter today, on X.com, the everything app, is wild. Like, if you haven't seen it, we'll go through it, but, like, today was a specifically wild crash out that I think has a lot of people asking questions. Yeah, I got the Grimes thing. Dude, I got avowed tech bro Elon supporter saying Elon is falling off, not gonna lie.
Where should I go?
This dude.
Sorry, shot in the dark here, but are you familiar with the Gene Zerugian?
What exactly do you think you're doing? I asked you a question. It's not that difficult to answer.
You know, I wouldn't be surprised if he's just taking a quick outdoor nap in between big Pokemon games, you know?
That was careless. I should have seen this coming.
I was trying to find my way back, but I think I got lost.
Are you lost?
Alright, let's go find this
With the
guy.
mining chain. Look, beyond there is the boss room. You should stay clear.
Hey, John. The rumors about her were true. I didn't notice her presence until she spoke.
I swear I saw it. Wasn't he holding a weapon a moment ago?
Sorry about that.
You need to leave this place now. If you accidentally agitate the boss, the entire mining team will be wiped out.
Yes, ma'am.
Wait, hold on.
Yes.
There was this Gene
What?
guy. He's got a bench sack there, but I didn't see him. He's over
For some reason, he doesn't stink.
Is everything okay?
I'm sorry, but are you really a hunter?
Yeah.
Jim's son, an E-rank. Never mind, sorry. You should be careful on your way back. This dungeon is pretty big.
Sure thing.
Is it because his rank is so low? Didn't you smell that?
Are you a sight for sore eyes?
Anything.
I've been holed up in the mansion since yesterday trying to organize the payment.
I still can't believe you ran into Hunter Chow. You sure are lucky. Even getting the chance to just talk to her is a pipe dream for people like us. You laughed, but she's no joke. Patrolling non-stop, beating a dungeon monster on a rampage. It's something else, that one.
So that's what she was doing.
You know what I heard? Apparently she doesn't like the way other hunters smell.
The way it smelled.
Huh. That's just smell for her? You ever notice how she's always looking at her nose?
The way she reacted, maybe. That wasn't said to the typical hunter. Like, typical hunter. That Red Big Boss did something similar. Is it because of the player? Having a system.
This game's weird, bro. Where's the guy on the bench? Not this guy. What's this guy doing? Bro, what? There's no guy on the bench. I'm looking. Oh, this guy?
The hell is he doing?
No, this one can live, okay?
What is going on? Where am I supposed to go?
Hey, well, don't shoot the hook bug. That's probably somebody's pet.
Somebody's pet? The giant bumblebee thing? So who's the guy on the bench? I don't know what that guy's looking at. This guy.
Hello? Get away. Don't take my shit. Oh, my God. It can't be.
What do you want?
You're not the famous bounty hunter Gene Zaruthian, are you?
Who's asking?
You're really Gene.
Yeah, really, Gene. That's me, like on the ads. Disappointed. Guess how I feel.
Okay, well, whoopsies.
This assistance does rip me apart. Why you let me ace later?
Did a good job today.
Sir.
We'd still be at it if not for you. I can't believe we wrapped up before the collection team finished.
It's like you were born to be on the mining team. Unless maybe you had an excavator hidden away somewhere.
Oh man, if only.
I've been doing this work for a while now, and I've never seen anybody with a knack for it like you've got. That's why I'd like to offer you a permanent spot. You'll be paid handsomely.
Thank you, but I'm afraid I can't accept it. I'm only here because I have some free time.
I understand. Well, that's a real shame. But you know, what do you say to coming in for just one more day?
Well,
Yeah, we've got a doubleheader scheduled for tomorrow. One A rank and one C rank.
my reassessment is in a couple days. I was able to earn the money I needed today, so... Wait, did he say there are going to be 2 hunter skill grades tomorrow? If I can an A, right?
Yes, although it'll be our secondary strike team running the show.
You got another strike team.
Sure do. That's one of our greatest strengths. There aren't many domestic guilds that can dedicate 2 teams to taking down A-rank gates.
Okay, where am I meeting you then?
Huh? I figured you'd turn me down for sure. Right, I'll make sure you get paid double the usual wage.
No, I can't do that.
Just take it. You work so fast. It's the least I can do.
Yes, I'm looking for a file, please. One of the hunters working for the mining team today named Jingleson. You already know him. Do you know him? The way she was acting in the dungeon, the guild masters looking into her, the association's involvement. Something's going on here. Out of all the hunters that were around, she was the person.
Oh, there you are. Mr. Sugg. It's good to see you again. Yeah. Easy as Gina, good to see you.
Try not to get flipped today, okay, Gina?
This feeling. I've forgotten what it was like.
It's time for lunch. You should join us.
We'd love to have you.
Sure, I can do that.
Great. All right, first up is the C-rank dungeon. The strike team should be coming out soon, so get ready. Impressive as ever, Mr. Sung.
Work just gets done faster than you around. It would be nice having a chance to rest before hitting the A-rank dungeon.
The collection team couldn't believe it. You sure you don't want to come work with us? 5 times the pay.
I can't.
Excuse me. Captain Hebert Soul.
I was wondering if you could lend us someone to your minds. The guy who was supposed to be our carrier never showed.
But from the miners? Wouldn't someone from the collection team be better suited?
Apparently, we're already short-staffed as it is. If you choose to accept the job offer, I'll make sure you're given hazard pay for your trouble.
Carrying a limited day-night match is dangerous. Respectfully certain, we can't spend the money if we're dead.
Is there no one here?
No way! Wait, Mr. Stroke, you don't want to die? You know how strong the magic is starting there? Even with a hazard pay, it's not working like this.
I'm a lot braver than I look.
I don't doubt that. This isn't a question of courage, kid. You only just got the best of me. You don't understand what he's agreeing to.
What's his rank?
He's an E-rank. Please, just find someone else.
It's fine. I'd like for him to do it. My name is Steven Eastman. I'll be taking point with the strike.
And I'm choosing something. It's bigger than yesterday's.
That may be true, but it's emitting much less magic power. I wouldn't worry too much. If there was anything really dangerous in this, the primary except
6 A ranks and 3 B ranks. No one here has asked for any other than something not the secondary team.
All right, let's get going.
Maybe it's even stronger than I realized. 2 teams in this level. There really is less magic power in the air compared to yesterday. But something's off. I have that same bad feeling I did when I entered the red gate. I'm imagining it.
No need to be nervous, okay? The captain and everyone else are superb hunters. As long as you don't run off, the magic beast won't have an opening to attack you.
Good to know, thanks.
Once this raid is over, I'll officially make leader of the secondary team. I might not be the strongest in the guild, but I am the sixth A-rank hunters around. I can handle this.
No orders needed, just instinct.
Here they come.
Sergeant Jeffs.
My turn!
Why are jackals in an A-rank dungeon?
Isn't that unusual to find them here?
Dungeon jackals are C-rank magic beasts. An A-rank food chain should have wiped them out.
Callers? Captain, maybe these aren't just wild animals.
Is it possible they were kept as hunting dogs?
There's the reason behind that bad feeling.
Hi, Holmes. Why are they here?
They aren't playing around.
My top skills are working. It's targeting the back line.
You'll have to try a little harder.
In fact, apply the magic resistance.
It's a powerful one. I can only hold it for a few seconds.
That may be all we need.
You who I now await. Click the head of my foe. My secret weapon costs a ton of mana, but it's worth it.
We need help! I hear you! 1 minute!
We're outnumbered! It'll just get worse if they surround us! We're not in groups of 3! Go!
Even one high point is a match for an A rank. So what hope do the B ranks have against this many? Stay with me, you guys!
I got you. Try to stay still. Did that just happen?
Changed. I'm suddenly moving slower. As an outsider, I can't just let them die. No one would mind if I weakened them a bit. Hold still for a sec, would you?
No, nothing our hero couldn't handle.
Hey, did you notice anything?
Yeah, the more dinosaur got this lucky trails. That was all you're doing, right, Gina?
No, don't look at me. I've just got attack magic and telekinesis. None of the spells I know can slow things down. And all of the other mages here are fire-focused.
Yes, that's some kind of stealth skill. No one on our squad has that ability. But who cares how we won? The point is we did.
Yeah, right. Let's chop it up to bits.
I think we're stupid. The joke's on him, I guess. All these mages around, they actually believe no one would notice him using stealth. Tricks aside, he did help us out of a tight spot. I'm sure he has his reason.
Yeah, you're right.
Yes, that's some kind of...
Suspending
Hey,
export now.
did you notice anything?
That was all you're doing, right, Gina?
No, don't look at me. I've just got attack magic and telekinesis. None of the spells I know can slow things down. None of the other mages here are fire-focused.
Yes, that's some kind of stealth skill. No one on our squad has that ability. Why just pretend?
Let's chop it up to bits.
Just think we're stupid. The joke's on him, I guess. All these mages around actually believe no one knows him using stealth. Tricks aside, he did help us out of a tight spot. I'm sure he has his reasons, so I won't touch him for now.
Do we press on, Captain?
This is too risky for our strike. We
shame this is how your first laid us character on the chain. But I feel like the smartest move here is to withdraw.
I get what a tough decision this is. He obviously wants to clear the stranger. But if he's so reasonable, we should.
Right. Let's fall back for the time being.
I was worried you'd want to keep going.
I might be ambitious, but I'm no idiot.
Barrier?
A strong one. Wasn't here before.
Yeah, the new title was this. What now?
With enough time, I think I can spot it. Something with incredible magic near this, and it's still lurking. Turning back was the right call. The more I see, the more I realize we can't clear this place.
This power. Where's it from? Nowhere good. From two bolts.
Hurry and give me some support. You got it.
Here.
A wave of magic strong enough for B ranks to detect. Nobody could sense it from the outside.
We're trapped! Sammy! Pull him back and get out! Sammy! What are you?
I can't. Skies, Captain.
Here, wait.
I know. But if we fight them, we'll end up dead, so... God, that barrier's your handwork, isn't it?
It is. I never tried out this master of course.
And aren't you the master of this cave? Or is there someone stronger?
I'm trying to be. And the X's will close past me. Now choose. Will you be killed by my soldiers? Or will you agree to live with me?
We'll meet with you. Hunter Son.
Yes.
Since this guy's most likely to us, we'll attack as soon as we see him. Even with his strength, I doubt he can maintain his barrier and fight with us at the same time. That'll give you a chance to escape. Contact the main strike team.
Don't tell me we're planning to die.
The plan's still the same. Ensuring this gate closes in time, whether we survive or not.
Hey, would you mind doing me a favor? It's not much, but my will isn't here. Please take it to my family.
It's like a double dose of violence. It makes me feel different. it's like. The ultimate store of value for galactic travelers like us. Think I can walk above the red clay? Just joking around, but I gotta keep it real. Space exploration is some serious business, even for a boss like me. But hey, being a gangster, you must appreciate the whole conquer and liberate vibe, right? A mouse like me and my hamster crew will be your loyal astronauts, helping you establish the first intergalactic gangster empire. We'll make sure to bring the gold and silver bars to back up your Martian street cred. Zeta, my hamster Hami, is already planning the logistics of our Martian takeover. You can make us an offer we can't refuse, boss.
I mean, hell yeah, but you gotta bring the bitches.
Blaze, you're a real character.
I'm unplugging my Bitcoin miner. And while there may be more than $40 million going out to Bitcoin miners every day, and I've spent a lot of time building my own little mini Bitcoin mining farm, running the Bitcoin mining profitability, depending on your situation, sometimes it just does not make financial sense to keep running those Bitcoin miners. Hey, I'm Drew Voss. You're on the Vosscoin YouTube channel. Home of the Vosscoin mining farm. So this is my Bitcoin mine situation right now with the gear that I still have online before I make some adjustmts, and also I need to get some things repaired. And a couple items are basically in limbo. So I've got a disrespectful 2.99 petahash. I am back out of the 3 petahash club, I guess. I basically have like an entire petahash of miners that are broken, as well as moving from a hosting facility that basically scammed me to a better hosting facility. That should be a much better experience. Subscribe, because that's going to be a story when I finally get out of this debacle with them. Fuck that. So we got 27 miners online here. This is on Luxor's mining pool. Luxor sponsored the channel. They have hash rate index, which is they have a premium newsletter, a free newsletter, a bunch of Bitcoin mining tools. They push a lot of Bitcoin mining information out. They can also source Bitcoin miners for you. So utilizing their Bitcoin profitability tool here, let's crunch some numbers. 68 terahash a second at 2.3 kilowatts or 2,300 watts. My electricity rate is effectively, I'm going to call it 8 cents. It's really 7 to 7.5 right now. But I like to err on the high side to account for supplemental equipment that's running, things like exhaust fans and so forth, that detract from my mining profitability because they have an electrical cost and they don't run into my calculations with all of the different mining rates. Remoting into my mining rate, you can see that it's reportedly mining about 70 terahash a second. This is immersed in our Bixbit immersion container, our 6 miner unit. Super quick update. While the Bixbit immersion system is really difficult to install, they have been very efficient and they've been running very well, even running under the recommended pressure that they're supposed to run on. So the big radiators and the VFD on those has proven to be effective and efficient. So this is in that tub, and you can watch our crazy install video on that, where I go from being a noob to a uncertified master plumber. It's reportedly using about 2,400 to 500 watts here. So my calculation I had is 3. Let's go a little bit higher here, 2.5. That hash rate, right? It's losing me money. It's losing me over $1 per day. And here's the 24-hour hash rate on that. It's a little bit lower. We had a power outage that does negatively impact that. So if we take 63, right, and I bumped it up to 68 to really more than compensate for that. Looking in the miner dashboard, that's probably maybe around where hash is at. There's a bit of variation here. The point being here is simple, right? This is a Bitmain Antminer T19. This is a previous generation Bitcoin miner. Many people are still running S19s. I get emails, I get messages, should I buy an Antminer S19? What should I do, boss? Is this worth it at this price? This is my electricity rate. You just gotta run the numbers and you gotta figure it out for you. I know my electricity rate. I also know my capacity, right? And right now I'm dealing with right before I get to this next leg of expansion of the farm, which is well underway. I'm out of electricity, or usable electricity right now, if you will. So if I have a miner that's losing me $1 per day, and I can plug in something that's burning me more than it's burning my electricity or my bills here, holding my pocket, that would make sense to do. This miner's run well. It's been rock solid. I ran it for a long time, air cooled, and then it's been in immersion over a year there as well. There's benefits, at least here, running a mining business to actually operate at a loss, right? For some gear, right? I've got a mining rig making $30 a day after my electricity bill. Okay, right? And then I've got this miner that makes me $3.65 a day, but I lose $1.15, right? So it's costing me like $4.80 to run. So I'm getting a $4.80 expense every day, and I'm also adding 3.65 into my BTC wallets. And Bitcoin doubles in price. Who cares? In retrospect, it was well worth it. But at some point, you have to make decisions and be pragmatic, or just reinvest capital. Hopefully, reinvest at this point, right? And deploy more gear, or I should really say, better gear, more efficient gear, right? If you ask around the mining community, you say, "I want to go to a mining conference," what do people recommend? They recommend Mining Disrupt, and for good reason. We've got a link to discounted Mining Disrupt conference ticket sales down in the video description below. Thanks to them for sponsoring. There's a lot of profitable miners out there, especially on the Dogecoin mining front. Recently, Mining Now reached out to us to basically compare their mining tool with like basic miner value, and they've definitely built a competitor product here. We actually built our own version of this, but it never made it out of beta, unfortunately. All the things that go on, you just may never know or hear about, right? So here's the Bitmain Antminer S21XP for reference. I also bring this up because I recently deployed an Antminer S21XP. It's been working very well. It's big, it's powerful, it's power hungry, and it's very efficient, and they're pretty expensive. But this could profit me, right, with my electricity rate of 8 cents for the next year, $3,000. $3,146. If you contrast that with the T19 I'm running, it's going to lose me $421 over the next year. If you're wondering why these aren't typical Antminer T19 spec, I have this underclock to try and increase the efficiency. So I've dropped like 20 terahash a second off of this, and I've reduced the power consumption by like 25% or whatever the math checks out as it is. But percentage-wise, I'm getting more hash for less power usage, and also increased density on my mining farm. Because if I do this to 3 miners, increase their efficiency, I've also opened up space for another miner or 2, depending on their electrical requirements. The bottom line is, though, right, I look at this T19, and it just doesn't make sense to run for me anymore, especially with how little it's still making day to day, with how high of a price Bitcoin is trading at. Then I look at an S19 I have. This is a 95 terahash a second version. You can see its power usage is up towards 2,700 watts. This one is actually on a hash rate target of 80 terahash a second. And then just to put that into perspective, right, I would take 81 terahash a second at 2,700 watts. This is losing me almost $1 a day. Over the next year, this is going to cost me an extra $307 a day to run. Right, so I could be buying basically $5 of Bitcoin, or I can be mining $4 of Bitcoin while spending $5 in electricity. Granted, right, this is an expense. There is a tax benefit to that, but you can't run a great business. Here's the Luxor Bitcoin mining pool readout of that exact miner here as well. You cannot run a profitable business. Like the best businesses are in the world, they're like, oh yeah, every day we lose money. That's our business. That's a losing business. So here's another miner I have in there. This is an S9.
Cryptocurrency and the community behind it is a disease. I know that's going to make quite a few people angry, but quite frankly, I don't care. And I also don't feel the need to pepper in a whole bunch of qualifying statements for these people about how it's not all crypto brands or on every ecosystem. Because the rot is now so pervasive and so widespread, it deserves to be categorized in a broad and sweeping fashion. course, the exceptions to that statement are fully self-aware of who they are, thus they won't be angered by this kind of generalization, because they know it's true, it doesn't apply to them. To reiterate here, cryptocurrency and the community behind it now are against this. I'm going to focus on the concept of coins for today, before anyone starts whining about how that's a fringe topic or non-reflective of the crypto community at large. No, it isn't. Sure, it used to be, but that idea that meme coins are some sort of fringe movement that exists only in the periphery of the crypto industry is now categorically false. I've talked about it before in separate videos, but I'll do a simple overview right now for people who never saw it. Pump.fun. Pump.fun is the epicenter of meme coin depravity. Over the last 14 days, it's processed $2.5 billion in volume, tens of thousands of tokens created. Pump.fun is a rigged casino, the lowest common denominator of gambling addict on planet Earth. And for anyone who's getting defensive right now, over the tone of my voice and selection of my words, good. That means you're one of the people who needs to hear it. It's actually a myth that YouTubers are somehow obligated to be respectful to all of their viewers. They're not. Pump.fun is a manifestation of greed. As much as anyone can believe in this word, it is evil. People are attracted to this platform because they can not only make money, but they can reinforce their own chances of making that money by racing to the bottom of human decency. These people call themselves degens, short for degenerate, because some are deep in their psyche that know what they truly are. And they refer to the practice of gambling meme coins as the trenches. The platform livestream feature, during its very brief lifespan, became a haven of provocative, shocking, criminal activity. For those of you typing out a poorly written comment right now before listening to the entire video, and some of you certainly will be, because you can't say that about me, just stop. Yesterday, the 21st of February 2025, the meme coin was launched on Pump.fun, rapidly achieving a valuation of millions of dollars. But this meme coin was the tokenization of man's name. I'll not be showing it, I'll not be giving the name. This token was launched because someone chose to repeatedly play Russian roulette live on a broadcast with the worst possible outcome. It said, if I die, hope you will turn this into a meme. It was turned into a meme coin, rapidly pulling in millions of dollars from this community as people used the tragedy for personal gain, while the tag, suicide, trended on Pump.fun. One of the sickest displays of human behavior that you'll likely ever see outside of the park. Make no mistake, I'm fully aware that this kind of behavior exists in the world, but it shouldn't exist out in the open with the rest of us. It should be relegated to fringe, dark, and difficult to access corners of the online world. Pray to ever be so informed. That is what these people deserve, the ones trading and profiting from this death token. That they deserve to be ostracized.
I'm back home. I'm in Toronto, and seldom do you see me shooting videos in the streets of Toronto, but today is one of those days where I gotta be consistent. I gotta film when I'm at home. Wow, this is a perfect example of how cold it is. Current temperature in Toronto is -7. The snow is ridiculous. This is where God decided to birth me, so I gotta embrace it and hold it, and love it. I'm home in Toronto. If you guys are new to my channel, it's Chris Muslis, a man on a mission to see every single country in the world. And for those that haven't seen snow, ask yourself this. Is this really what you want to wake up to in the morning? Is this something that you look forward to? Hey, I'd much rather a nice sunny beach or island. I like the heat, man. I like to get all sweaty and the cold is not for me. You got to be prepared out in these streets, so I often get accused of showcasing like the problems in other countries, which normally is gangs, right? Crime and violence. And people ask me like, Chris, how come you never show the gangs in Toronto? And the reality is, crime exists. Here's an example. Here's a robber. He's a robber. Crime exists. Mostly petty. A lot of car crime, like stealing cars. But gangs? It's not like that in Toronto. There are areas that I will explore that have gang problems, but for the most part, 99% of the people will never run into a gang-related crime in Toronto. So when you ask me why don't I show gangs in Toronto, it's just not a problem. But what we do have a problem in is with 12,000 Torontonians who are homeless tonight. Homelessness and drug addiction, fentanyl. I know a bunch of people that have died to drug overdose. So I'm going to walk and talk, try to show you guys how the homeless live in Toronto on a cold day like today with a lot of snow. Also later on in today's video, I'm meeting with a man that is responsible for building tiny, tiny homes.
Hi, my name's Ryan from Tiny Tiny Homes.
Tiny, tiny homes. What the heck is a tiny, tiny home?
Tiny Tiny Home is a portable shelter that's made to house people in the wintertime so they're not living so rough while waiting for permanent housing.
So I'm the first person to get one.
How does that feel?
Amazing, warm.
Yeah. You know what? I'm out here, the smoke is going, but I can see you're warm.
I know when I get to where I play a little shirt.
If you guys are new to my channel, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button. I'm on a race right now to 500,000 subscribers.
Good kitty.
Once I hit that, then the channel
Good
will
kitty
continue
cat.
on to 1 million and 2 million and 3 million. You're just simply not getting rid of me. You guys tell me down below in the comments. Do you like the cold? Have you felt the cold? Have you ever seen snow? Have you ever touched snow? And I can't speak properly. My mouth is frozen. I'm walking up. I can't speak. Let me try this again. I am walking upon Trinity Bellwood Park. Now, 3 years ago, right around the commencement of my YouTube channel, one of my very first videos was visiting a homeless tent city here during the winter. We got about 300,000 views. And I must say, I'm happy to see that there are not tents all throughout this park, but I'm also concerned that those people that were living in the tents, where are they living today? My friend Security, tell me this is the craziest building in Toronto. Yeah, you can say it. You've seen it, you witnessed it. You're being too polite. I know, and he knows. If Reed in the street told me it's the craziest building, it's the craziest building, so let me try to sneak my way in. Oh, the fun part of the job.
I ain't trying to be, no, I touched that shit. Hey, my boy, relax, my boy. Give me the money. Let me give you money. Oh, yeah. Come, let me see my friend. Yo, so I want, yo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you think it's intimidating? Come on. It's a warm welcome to the neighborhood. Yeah. So this is what's happening in the neighborhood. What's happening? What's happening?
Yeah, it's normal. Normal shit. Normal shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. This is the spot, huh?
Yes.
Where are you from? Nigeria? So this is what the whole thing looks like.
Yeah,
You gonna tell me something?
tell him something.
Something. Where are you from, Mark? I'm in Jamaica. In Jamaica? Jamaica. Where in Jamaica? Okay, I'm in Jamaica all the time. My friend, when you came to Canada, you thought you were going to be in a staircase like this in Toronto? You know it's good. It's like, but a year from now, 2 years from now, where you're going to be, not in the staircase. You got to bounce back. You're young, you got the opportunity. Yeah. Yeah. But you want to stay in Canada? Yeah. You know, when I'm in Africa, everybody thinks you come to Canada, you're going to live in a big house, you're going to have a Mercedes Benz. Yeah. Yeah. But this is the problem, crack. This is what you guys are doing in this hallway. Yeah. My friend, you're not living a good life right now. Yeah. 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 In this whole staircase, how many people are in the staircase all day, 24 hours a day? 7 days a week. You just smoke right now? Yes. Yeah. Man, back to back to back to back. live here? How long have you lived here? Yeah. But you're originally from Jamaica?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
What's happening?
Small space. I see you, man.
I'm getting there. I'm getting there.
Yeah, this whole guy.
Where's she from?
Hey,
Where are you from?